Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Can you tell me which screen are you saying? Are you seeing the screen with a picture and my picture and a picture of a boat?
Yes, yes, you're right.
You're seeing that screen as well, right? On your computer, on your Zoom meeting.
Yes, we see picture.
Okay. All right. So let me, I think, usually when I present this live, I ask people, this is a picture taken in a city. Can anybody guess what city it is? You can probably put your guesses in the chat. And if I have the ability to see the chat, then I will know. So this is a city somewhere in the world. This picture was taken. Can anybody tell me where do they think this city is? So I see a chat right there. And please put it in English so I can read it. I'm trying to read the chat. Is it possible that anybody can answer on the chat, or is it difficult to do?
We have one answer there.
Which says, oh, Ottawa. That's you. So it's a winner. I can't read the name, but yes, absolutely, it is Ottawa, Canada. This is exactly where I am right now. The IBM Ottawa lab. I am in the office. The background back there is actually a live view of the city of Ottawa on the south end. This is downtown Ottawa, which is about 10 kilometers from my office. So if I drove about 10 kilometers from downtown Ottawa is to my left here. And this is the Ottawa Canal. I'm just trying to read the meetings chat here. This canal is links a lot of lakes to the Ottawa River. So at the end of the canal here, this water is heading straight to the Ottawa River, and the Ottawa River separates the province of Ontario from the province of Quebec in Ottawa. So in Canada. So the city of Ottawa is pretty much on the border between the province of Ontario, the province of Quebec. The province of Quebec is very, very special in North America. It is where the official language is French in the province. So Canada has both French and English as official languages. At IBM, because of technology, we mostly use English, but a lot of our communication here in IBM Canada comes in French as well, as French is the official language, another official language of Canada. This picture has been taken in the late summer, maybe last year. This is the Parliament of Canada. This is where, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, is the Prime Minister of Canada. I'm giving you lots of context on geography here to get to know you. We'll talk technology and business. Trust me, we can get deep into AI and data and what we do and the large software systems that we sell. The Parliament of Canada looks very much like the Parliament of England, right? If you've ever been to London, this almost looks like, where the English Parliament sits. It's almost a miniature version of it. And this is not the Thames. This is not the big river in London. This is a small, canal in Ottawa. However, the Ottawa River is very, very large river. Rivers in Canada are very large, probably like in Ukraine. Most people that I ask them in North America when I present this, they think this is in Europe because it looks very European, it looks castle, mostly North American cities. They have skyscrapers. They are new. There's not history, in North America here. Everything has been built, in the early 20th century, pretty much. But this looks like, European, architecture, not North American architecture. The Parliament of Canada is currently, we have the Liberal Party, and the head of the Liberal Party is Justin Trudeau, and hence this is why Justin Trudeau is our Prime Minister at this point in time. In the winter, this becomes a skating rink. It freezes. Ottawa is the coldest capital in the world. It's much colder than Kiev, I think. What's the average temperature in Kiev? I know, that's what stat. You can Google it. What is the coldest capital city in the world? And you'll find that it's Ottawa. It can get to minus 20 degrees. This freezes, becomes a skating rink. And it is the largest skating rink because the city of Ottawa, clears the ice. And a lot of people, they commute for 15 kilometers over ice in the winter when it gets very cold. If you like skating, then this is a really good place to skate. Okay, so having said that, what I would like to talk to you about is, and you can ask questions, what we're doing with AI and generative AI for business and in our business applications. I would like to cover the opportunity that we have, the challenge that we see, what are other companies doing about this opportunity and challenge, the status quo, and what is our go forward, what is our position and solution for this opportunity and challenge. So that's, I think, the content of this 1 hour. If there are any questions, please ask in English, and we have a translator here, and we can quickly stop. So what we are seeing when we talk to customers in banking, in finance, in manufacturing, in insurance, in education, customers who are running in education, we call those organizations, we find them that they struggle to extract valuable insight from the data they've collected about their customers, about their suppliers, about their partners. It's very difficult, we're finding, for organizations to do data-driven decisions. For example, questions or decisions that employees make every day to optimize their businesses, whatever the business is, such as what drives my revenue? How can I increase my revenue? How can I get revenue growth? Who are my best customers? So if you're a credit card company, you'd like to know, or if you're a telecom company, you'd like to know your best customers. Or employees. What are the customer surveys? What are my customers saying in social media about me? If I'm a hotel chain, like in hospitality, and my business relies on feedback from my customers on social media, so the other customers can use sites to book trips, for example, and book nights in my hotel. So the loyalty of my customers. How do I reduce my costs or reduce my risk in doing business? All of these business questions, they need to be data-driven. I would have had to know all my customers, what they are saying, and do an analysis and create some dashboards, create some insights from that data. When we talk to organizations worldwide, we find that most organizations, their employees cannot access the data in their organization. It's difficult. The tools that they use, the skills, even if you know very well Excel and you can build spreadsheets, how to connect your Excel to your data warehouse in the organization so you can extract all the comments from your customers on all social media, or the feedback you have gotten from your customers, or all your transactions that you have done, last month. So you could do the analysis of that transaction, who bought what, in what location, at what time, so you can make a plan to grow revenue, to stock units in supermarket and in a merchandising use case. The data is not accessible to all employees. So we find a lot of employees are making business decisions that are not driven by data. This is, I think, an issue that most organizations face. IDC is a research organization, a technology and business research organization that did a study that shows that worldwide, big data and analytics software that does the analysis, that provides insight, that provides analytics, between 2023 and 2027, worldwide, all businesses, they will spend close to 28 billion US dollars on the software. To give you an idea, IBM makes over $1 billion a year just from the product that we lead here in business analytics. That's how big the business is. And that's not the entire data stack. When you look at the entire data stack, it's much, much bigger the revenue. So organizations are spending a lot of money to put data, to harness data, because data for large organizations is like oil for the economy. And you know how important, currently at least, oil or energy for the economy. There's no movement of trucks or of products or of people, of economic activity, unless there is energy. So data for organizations is like oil for the economy. And most organizations, they only have 30% of employees that are using business intelligence to drive decision-making from their data. When we talk to a large number of organizations, IBM has an Institute of Business Value. So we have a team here in New York that focuses in talking to the largest enterprises in the world, all over the world. And 40% of the CEOs of those companies cite that it is very difficult to find meaningful insights as part of the data challenges that they face their organization. So when you ask a CEO, do you have all the data you need to make your decision? 40% of them, they said, it's difficult. Sometimes they have to make the decision, almost guess, what they have to do next year. I don't have clear data insight. And this is despite the fact that almost $28 billion is being spent on IT, information technology projects that are focused on building data warehouses, on making these data warehouses available to systems, information systems within the organization, whether it's the HR, the human resource department, the finance department, the operations department, the IT department itself, because they have a spend. All of that data is being made to all the departments within an organization, despite the fact that a lot of money is being spent to make, to invest in IT and databases and analytics tools on top of databases. You ask CEOs and they tell you, 40% of them, they said, we're finding challenges to find the insight from all the data that I have so I can make better decisions. So then decision makers with an organization, whether you are the CEO or whether you are a line manager that is trying to optimize, decisions around the department or the team, throughout, or whether even you are a manager in a production line where you have to figure out what parts, let's say your, production line for an automotive manufacturer. And the largest automotive manufacturers in the world, in Europe, in Germany, for example, I know I've met their IT departments, whether it's the Volkswagen Group, whether it's Mercedes-Benz, whether it's Audi. Bosch is one of the largest companies that manufacture parts for cars, a German company. The decision makers in these organizations, they face dilemma. They either wait for help before they make a decision. There is a limited number of data analysts. You basically, as an employee in that organization, you'd like to understand what are the parts that you need to stock so as to avoid any production line disruption. And a data analyst will have to go and write some what we call SQL, structured query language, on top of the database to produce, an output from the data warehouse and provide you that information. You can train yourself to figure out how to extract data and insight from databases, or you can act without insight, which is most of the users that we'd see within an organization. So I think this is the challenge, and it's an opportunity in a way. Okay. One thing is that, like IBM, many other companies, or Microsoft, or Oracle, or SAP, who are our main competitors in this space, they've built BI tools, business intelligence, business analytics tools, that tries to put the insight in the hands of business users. So this picture here, we have a bunch of business users. They are in a meeting, they have charts, and they have graphs, and they have all the data that they need to make a decision. However, we found that adding AI to existing business software, these tools, for example, Copilot has been added to Excel and Power BI. In Microsoft, Copilot is a Microsoft product. Adding BI, artificial intelligence to the existing BI software helped, but business users are still left out to struggle to find the data and insight that they need. And there are a lot of software tools that provide dashboards, reports, and visualizations to decipher data, but however, it's missing insight. So the business users continue to struggle to understand the meaning of all of these charts that they can see in a dashboard or in a report. So that's where we are right now. Okay. What we're proposing is an AI-powered analyst and advisor that can put insight into everyone's head. I think business users, like all of us who have used ChatGPT, and I assume that you all use ChatGPT, right? I see some heads nodding. Well, business users, they would like to have a ChatGPT-like experience on top of their enterprise data so they can make better decisions. So in ChatGPT, you could try to ask it, as you are doing a project for your class, to help you with the specific topics or knowledge within that class. Well, business users would like answers to what are the top 10 customers in my, in my city or in this particular region. So I could send them a marketing campaign to first thank them for being the best customers that they have. And second, try to upsell them something else, offer them, something to buy. This is one of the things that business users do. What we need is an intuitive, easy to use experience. This assistant, this ChatGPT for data warehouses for business that puts insight at everyone's fingertips, needs to understand the business context of the question. Shouldn't be like ChatGPT, just give you answers that are generic and general enough about information that exists in the internet. So ChatGPT, if has been trained with the content of all the content, public content that exists on the internet. However, the data that exists on the internet is only a fraction of the total amount of data that actually sits within organizations. So, for example, a bank doesn't put its data on the internet, obviously. It has to be secure, it's behind its firewall, but the banking system has more data in its private data warehouses than it exists all over the internet. They collect everything, every credit card transaction, for example, on Citibank, which is the largest, billions and billions of transactions a month. Who bought what, at what location, for how much, goes into a data warehouse at Citibank. Citibank is one of the largest Wall Street banks. It's a great customer of IBM, and it needs to be able to use that information, but it cannot train ChatGPT with it. It has to be AI for business. It needs to build its own generative AI so it can help its own business. This AI-powered assistant that is needed to solve the challenge that I've mentioned, which is business users are still finding it difficult to get the insight from the data they have because they don't know how to use the tools, or the tools are complex, or they don't have access to this data, and they need data analysts, they need data scientists, they need specific skills and a team of people who are focused on building dashboards, reports, and distributing them, and that team tend to be a bottleneck to have a quick answer to a quick business question every day at any moment that a business user is basically analyzing and making decisions. That tool needs to integrate into the workflow and the collaboration applications that the business user uses. So imagine you using within an organization or at the university, I don't know, you may use, obviously you're using Zoom to collaborate, but instant messaging, you may be using, there's a company called Slack that IBM uses, or Teams that would allow the organization to collaborate internally, without exposing, the messages to third-party entities. You would like this AI assistant to be embedded in these tools, such as Teams or Slack. So as you are collaborating and asking, working with your colleagues, you should be able to quickly answer question, what are my top products that have sold last month? And which colors of these products are the most requested by customers? The idea is you're going to obviously produce more of that, so as to make sure that you're not running out of stock as a producer of a product. The product could be anything, it could be, we mentioned, a Coca-Cola bottle. There's a lot of, I like to drink Coca-Cola Zero, for example. There's a variety of Coca-Colas, and does the manager who is producing the variety of pop drinks or these drinks needs to make a decision on which mix of products he needs to produce in Ottawa, in Canada, in North America versus Europe, as Coca-Cola is a global company, and it is also a customer of IBM. So I'm going to show you a quick
From
video
inquiry to insight at the speed of thought, with the ease of natural language and intuitive visual control. Watson X BI Assistant brings extraordinary analytics powers to ordinary business users through the smartest reasoning engine we've ever made. It combines descriptive, diagnostic, prescriptive, and predictive AI with a semantic layer and metrics catalog tuned to your business to automatically model relevant and accurate insights from complex data with governance and integrity. So you know confidently what happened, why it happened, what will happen, and what you can do. Now everyone in your organization can harness this analytics brain without having to be an analytics expert to think through problems, examine impact, discover possibilities, and make changes that decide the future. Introducing business intelligence the way business intelligence is meant to be.
Okay, so that's a highlight of the latest innovation that is coming out of IBM. So IBM is creating a business intelligence assistant. It is called IBM Watson X Business Intelligence. We are the research and development organization that builds this capability. It is the easiest way for me to explain it to a set of students it's ChatGPT, but for business users. It's trained using generative AI, large language models. I hope this means something to you. These large language models at IBM, we have a model called Granite. OpenAI calls its large language model GPT-3, GPT-4. This is the sequence of versions of GPT. IBM has its own large language model, and we're deploying this large language model in customer environments, in customer IT systems. For a particular customer, we don't mix, data from a bank A with bank B or government A with most governments, they use IBM technology and IT stack. So this deployment is effectively private to the company, large language model that will learn everything from the data and answer all the questions that business users need. I'm going to stop here and see if there are any questions about this new tool. I know this new space could be new to you, but the idea is to introduce you to new things that you haven't seen before, and that's how we get to learn. Any questions? And maybe we could make use of the translator to help, and then we will continue a few other things with respect to how it's built, the architecture, how it thinks, how it connects to databases, and that'll be it for this session.
Can I ask the first question?
Yes, please.
What is your attitude towards the use of artificial intelligence by humans in general?
That's a good question and a philosophical question. My personal attitude or IBM's?
Yes.
My personal attitude. I think AI should be governed, but AI is a huge opportunity for humanity in general. I have lived many transformations in IT. The biggest one in my life is the internet. So I've started working around the mid-90s, about when the internet started to take off. And it was extremely difficult to see where it'll end up and how the internet can be used for good things and for bad things. And largely, it has enhanced humanity in general, connected us. Look at what we're doing right now. I'm in Ottawa, you're in Kiev, and we are conversing over a pipe which is called the internet. Obviously, at that time, there was no Zooms, there was no Facebooks, or there was no social networks, there was no, and then the internet brought people together and brought business together and enhanced productivity, enhanced the lives. You know, doctors can connect with patient through the internet. When COVID came, it became the only way of working, of connecting, even though, you know, everything shut down in Canada. I think it happened in Ukraine as well during, I mean, 2019, 2020. You know, I couldn't come to work here. I had to work from home through the internet. And at the time, I remember that a lot of people, they were not sure whether this is a good thing or not. Largely, people have, you know, figured that it's good to be able to find information. Google came, you know, in the early 2000s, and, you know, information became available. Educational institutions, they started to leverage it, because initially there was, our students going to start, you know, Googling and cheating on their exams and not being able to do, similar to the ChatGPT question right now. You know, now we have brains that can think and can produce and can compose, and hence, you know, what's, you know, if you were a you know, professor and you've given an exam, a take-home exam, not exam in the room, and the students ended up using ChatGPT to answer every question, then what's the benefit right there? The same, I think, feeling I recall happened about, you know, 30 years ago. I believe we're living another inflection point. We will know in about 30 years whether this revolution in AI has been used well for advancing humanity in general, I'm talking, or advancing the interest of a small section of humanity, which is a problem. I think the internet, you know, made the billionaires out of Zuckerberg and many other people. So the wealth equality, for example, you can always argue that the internet hasn't worked for everyone, because there's a special group of people who, you know, became very, very rich out of it. The rest of us, AI can be the same. I think it's an opportunity. If we use it right, it will enhance our productivity, our ability to create, our ability to innovate, our ability to communicate, and a variety of other abilities that I can't even imagine today. My personal attitude, I think we should embrace technological advancement, including AI. A lot of people think that eventually AI is going to take over, and then it's going to create a lot of problems, because it's going to be much, much smarter than humans. And if there are entities that are much smarter than humans, then what's going to happen to us is going to be a danger to us. The philosophical, I think, aspects about what's good and what's bad when AI is driving, I think, the consensus of thinking. That I leave it to the philosophers and the academician. But as a technologist, I am embracing AI. I'm learning everything that there is about it, and I'm using it to solve practical problems, such as the dilemma where we have $30 billion being spent on IT systems to give business users access to their data, yet only 30% of them are able to access data. So I'm trying to help that. I hope I've answered that. I haven't been asked before. I mean, this gave me a quick time to reflect about what my attitude is. But I welcome, your feedback and input on this. What are our collective attitude about AI? Does it scare you? Does it excite you? Do you see opportunity? Do you see danger? To the team here, to all the students.
Thank
Can I
you.
answer the question?
Yes, I see a hand raised here. Veronica, is that Veronica?
Yes. Hello. Nice to meet you, and thank you for joining us today and telling all the information. Really,
Veronica, I can't hear you right.
and I'm working in a marketing.
We have some problem with internet.
Veronica, we can't hear you very well. You're coming chopped.
So, Mike, I absolutely agree with you that it brings lots of opportunities for us, and it helps to enhance all the aspects of work, because I'm working as a manager of the team, and with AI, it helped a lot to make us more productive, to generate all the images, all the content, all the blogs, and SEO process become much easier and much more interesting. So my question is, as I'm working with lots of small business owners and medium business owners, what do you think about your software? Is it the most helpful for bigger companies, or it also can be beneficial for small business owners as well?
That's a great question, Veronica. And I know, I hope you can hear me, because I think I got the majority of the question. At one point, it was difficult to hear you. The voice came interrupted. And many thanks for you attending this meeting. It's very encouraging to see you all on a, I think it's a Friday night for you. So the professor is with us here, but to have students who are meeting on a Friday night is great. Usually, it's usually that's when, the students, they take a break, or they go out with the family and friends and enjoy the weekend. So it's good to have you all here. And thanks, Veronica, for the question. To answer your question, it's helpful for small businesses, medium businesses, and large businesses. Unfortunately, I used a lot of names of large businesses because the challenge is biggest, the amount of data is biggest, and the spending power for these businesses is biggest. When we talk about Citibank has a huge budget for information technology. Every year they spend billions of dollars on information technology, just the bank. However, I did not mean to say that medium-sized businesses and small businesses cannot benefit from making data-driven decision. As a matter of fact, for a small business, it's extremely critical to your survival as a small business and your growth to be able to data to drive your. There's an echo here that just came up, but I hope I've answered that. Is there a follow-up here? I'll stop here.
Yes, thank you so much for answering the question. I'm currently in Toronto, so for me, it's just middle of the day. So that's why I guessed the city on the picture. Yeah, I'm just in the office, so I took a break for the conference. Yeah, but I'm still studying online, and I appreciate all my teachers to make this meeting. And the second question, I'm sorry for answering, for asking lots of questions, but how do you secure the privacy of the data that you're collecting from the companies? Because for me, personally, bank structures and big companies, I think they care a lot about the privacy of their customers. And I also wanted to ask which types of data do you collect and which insights can it provide for businesses? It's just very interesting for me because I'm thinking about making my own agency when I'm getting my PR card, but I'm still on the way to it.
Okay, good. So I think Veronica is in Toronto, and hence she doesn't get the kudos that you guys have in Kiev, as it's very late on a Friday afternoon and you, on a Friday night, and you're still with us. I think it's close to 7 p.m. right now. But Veronica and I are on the same time zone. It is 11:46 a.m. So we haven't even crossed to noon right now. We're you're way ahead in the time zone. I think 7 hours probably. The privacy of the data. So this is a good question. Probably so many of you, as I was talking about the ability to go from inquiry to insight very fast with a natural language, intuitive interface with visual controls in front of the business user, asking lots of questions about the business, about the customers, about the revenues, about the marketing plans. So how do we secure the data for the company? IBM is one of the best companies in the world that knows how to solve this problem. First, the large language model that is built is deployed at the customer side. So unlike OpenAI, where the large language model is learning from all the questions that it get and all the data that it get from everyone in the world. So when you use ChatGPT, effectively, you're teaching it how to get smarter. You know, with every question you ask GPT about anything, it'll learn. So that's part of its learning mechanism. This is how generative AI, and this is why a lot of people are concerned about generative AI. As it becomes smarter and smarter and smarter and knows everything, then, you know, what is the impact on us as humans, you know, when it reaches a point where it can control us. I don't think, so to get away from, I think, that discussion and get back to the security, the data is the enterprise data that is used to answer these business questions that you've seen in the video here. So if I look at, if I try to, so this is, the forecast shows that increasing spend in paid media for a marketing campaign and referrals could increase sales by 17%. So Veronica, you're in marketing and you're going to have a marketing campaign. You have a chart that shows you that if you launch this marketing campaign, the sales are going to increase by 17%. And there are options of that marketing campaign that you choose. Where is that data coming from? It's the data warehouse of the customers. So a question like this and an answer like this, if another business asks the same question and the large language model is taught on its data, then it could be that, you know, the number will increase differently, not 17%, or it could even decrease. So it could show that the marketing campaign is not an effective marketing campaign, so do not spend the money on it. This is an example, right? Which paid media channel are getting the highest response? You know, I think these days for young people, social media, right? If I am a business and I want to advertise, Veronica, where do you usually advertise? Probably in Facebook or in maybe Instagram or something like that there.
No, we are usually doing search engine optimization and the Google ads because
So
we
you do
have
both.
the home improvement businesses mostly.
Okay. Yeah, so Google Ads. So you spend, you know, your money on Google Ads. And so every time I searched, you know, on home improvement, you know, I need to buy a couch or I need to paint or something like that, then automatically Google puts, you know, your products or your offering. So that's what this is one example. As you see, there are many other examples in this tool. You know, what happened here, you know, they ask. So the data shows that 83% of advanced tier clients reach the aha moments in the trial experience. This is a software manager that is trying to figure out whether when he launches a trial, and by the way, Watson XBI Assistant will be available for free for 30 days as a trial software for small business This is great. You can use it for 30 days. You don't pay anything. After 30 days, you'll have to pay. And the cost is not going to be very much for small size businesses with small data using small number of GPUs, because the LLM, as you know, uses these graphics chips that are called GPUs that NVIDIA sells. Anybody knows who's NVIDIA? You guys know who NVIDIA is? NVIDIA. So Google. It is a company that currently produces the most sophisticated chips for AI, and it is now the company that is making the most amount of profit out of AI because it sells the GPU chips, it's called. So for a software, how can we improve conversion rate? So if I've given you a trial and I'm a product manager for software, 1,000 people, they've signed up to the trial for free. I would like to see at least 20% of them liking the product and going into, not beyond the free trial, going into the version where they pay $30 a month, for example. You could see it in some of the streaming media. For example, Spotify, you can get, or Apple Music. In Apple Music, you get, 3 months for free. And after which you decide to continue listening to Apple Music, streaming Apple, or not. And a product manager at Apple would be using the data of all those users who have been listening for 3 months for free to find out how many of them are converted to pay the paid tier for Apple Music, because Apple, needs to sell you something. They are not giving you something for free. This is, for example, the conversation system. So the idea is to have, chat box here, and then the interaction between the user and this Watson XBI system, which is a brain, but a brain that is trained on business data for that company. And that's where the security is. And actually, all of these training doesn't leave the company. It stays with that particular company. And if they use Watson BI Assistant on the cloud, then they get their own cloud instance with their own cloud. And we ensure that, every customer is walled off from that perspective. So the IP, the security of the data for businesses, is very well respected. And that's the only way we'll be able to convince, banks, for example, to adopt this. Else they will not. Any other questions? So two questions from anybody else. Veronica, I think you've used all your questions. Anybody else has a question in addition to the great question about what is my view on AI?
Yeah.
I'm very encouraged by AI. I like it.
Okay, I have one question. Do special skills or training are required to use this business intelligence, or everyone can use it?
Yeah. So Sasha here, I think, is asking the question, which is a great question. The point is everyone can use it. If you can use ChatGPT at home, when you log into your with your work computer, and you are working for a company, and you are connected to the network of the company. So your computer, when it boots up, and you are in the office, then that computer is tied to the network of the company, and you have access to that. The idea is that anyone can basically easily use it through this interface, similar to ChatGPT, but to answer your business question. You would have business, don't, ask it, how's the weather today? For example, here, this Watson XBI Assistant is not to chat with you about general things. It's meant to be chatting with you about, if you're an HR manager, for example, a human resources manager, your job is to understand all your employees, their salaries, when is their bonuses, when is their pay date. So that's how you manage as an HR person. So your questions will be related to, that domain. Okay, but it is as easy as asking a question and getting an answer with a set of metrics, I think, and these visualizations. So when you log in here, you'd see Luna here is the user. It's a fictitious user. It's not the real user. So when we build these demos, we have a username that is called Luna, and she has few metrics that is following. She's following marketing revenue, which falls very well with what Veronica is doing. She probably has some revenue that is coming from marketing right there, and it's up 27%, but it's only attaining 42%. She has growth channels. She has clients, you know, she has the sales people and the sales execution. The pipeline is, you know, the potential sales that are coming in the future. The procurement, how much we spent in buying everything we need as an organization. And, you know, there are a bunch of topics here that are available. And so when you log in, when Luna logs in, there is already all of her conversations are here. There are some topics, the marketing budget and digital channel, the business user. We're trying to build a scenario around what business people do day to day. If you have a product, you know, the support ticket, if you're selling a product, how many customers called in and say the product doesn't work? You know, the support tickets related to the products, you know, you can have a conversation about, you know, which product has lots of support tickets, is problematic after the customer buys it. IKEA, for example. And I'm using these big, large organization names, not to say that this tool is only for the large organizations. It can be used by any business customer, that small, medium, or large, or extra large, that has data about its customers, its products, its suppliers, its invoices, etc., its employees. And you can ask these questions. IKEA, for example, there's a lot of return. A lot of people that buy IKEA furniture, they may put it together and then say, no, I don't like it, or it's not, and then they return it. They do a huge analysis of which products they bring in lots of returns or tickets or issues, and they try to improve that product or remove it out of their stock. Don't sell it. Any other questions? So this is great. I'm liking, I think, this interactive session here with you all. I hope you're benefiting from this session as well. Okay, if there are no questions, let me, I think, get to, I think, dig deep a little bit into, so this is the product and on your MacBook Air. And these are the metrics that Luna has. You've seen, you know, the extended metrics right there. So the capability is to AI-driven analytics, gain insight that not only diagnose what happened, but also prescribe the output. This is critical. So business users not only want to know what happened and why it happened, but also what can I do about it? And that would be, you know, AI is able to propose some solution to some of the business problems that you have as a business user. Okay, so we call that prescriptive analytics. So there's diagnostic analytics of any business issue I have. And if I do have issues, and thank you very much for the, you know, Mr. AI, Watson XBI assistant brain in my computer. You've explained to me what the business problem is. Can you tell me what I can do about it? I can take the decision to do it, or I can get options, maybe. That's called prescriptive analytics, which is very important. Transparent reasoning. Business users, they don't believe everything ChatGPT tells them or Google tells them. Because their work and their employment depends on business. actions they make. So if you're a business user, you have the responsibility to make the right business decision, because if you make lots of wrong business decision, what's going to happen to you? You will lose your employment. I think that's evident. So you need to be good at making sure you make the right decision. Hence, when they are dealing with a system like this, they would like to understand why you gave me this answer. Why is it that 17% increase for this particular session? And I know we're about to finish here. So I'll give you some I think highlights. There, I mentioned the personalized metrics for you, so it will focus you. So when you log in to do work, you're not all over the place. You have some focus area to work on. So you can personalize metrics, and those metrics you can actually pin them and say, these metrics I like to follow them from all the metrics that exist in the organization, or they can be authored by a data analyst or your manager. He's a Sasha, here's the set of metrics I'd like you to follow because I need your help with understanding these trends. And then at the end of the week, I'd like you to help me make a decision around some of these trends. So personalized metrics is available. More, I think, capabilities, alerts. You set an alert. So if stocking units in my store, an IKEA, for example, specific bookshelf, the stocking units is becoming very low, and I see customers are buying more, and I'm going to run out. I need the system to send me an alert message saying this bookshelf is going to run out. So order more to the store as a store manager at IKEA. For example, this is just, I'm giving you some examples of what usage. Data stories. So the ability for you to, once you've gotten the insight, to share it and communicate it is very important. So there is basically the ability to get all your conversation, put them into a summary document, and send them to your manager saying, this is what I'm getting from the data, including the visualizations. So you create a PowerPoint slide, deck out of your insights, so you can go to a business meeting and look very smart and present, the insights and data stories. And last is it'll work on your phone. Obviously, even though you're a business user, you may be, not in front of your desk like I am right now, using my computer, but you could be on your mobile phone, and you could be within Microsoft Teams or Slack or other collaboration. I'm going to stop here and I'm going to stop the share here and see if there's a final question, or else we're at the end of our session. If there are no further questions, thank you very much. Maybe we can follow up the discussion, and maybe it'll be another opportunity where we can cover another topic. You can, so obviously we've talked about a little bit business and AI for business. This is what the topic is. We can talk about other topics that that you may think IBM is interested in, and I can help with. Can also bring other speakers in subject matter experts in different areas to talk to you and share with you knowledge, experience, etc.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
You're welcome.
Саша,
Thank-
подякуйте, будь ласка.
Yes, thank you, Sofiane. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our guest, Sofiane Azizi, for sharing his insights and expertise. And thank you all for active participation and your questions. And have a great day. Thank you one more time.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.